Are you wondering how much your mortgage payment should be and if now is a good time to buy? In general, real estate is a great long term investment for everyone. It allows you to stabilize one of your largest expenses and one of our most basic needs, housing. But a lot of first time buyers are nervous about spending too much or buying at the wrong time. This buying decision is a personal decision for everyone because their finances are personal. Everybody's finances are different. So, what may be a good time for one person may not be a good time for another person. So, we're going to go over some of the fundamental things that you need to know about how much your mortgage payment should be and when is a good time to buy. Now, as financial professionals say, especially in real estate, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. Now, I got that one from Sir Ashley. If you haven't seen his channel, I'll put a link down below. But that's very true. If you plan on buying and living long term, over 5 years, I like 7 to 10 years or longer, then you should be fine. Real estate, the history of real estate has always gone up. It may have some dips some years, but overall, the house that you buy today will be worth more 10 years, 20 years from now, as long as it stays in, good condition on average across the board, across the United States. Now, for your personal finances, you want to make sure that you're not spending too much of your income on housing. The general rule of thumb in housing is that you don't want to spend more than 28% of your gross pay on housing, on your mortgage payment. And when I'm talking about mortgage payments, I'm talking about the total mortgage payment. I'm talking about principal, interest, taxes, insurance, mortgage insurance, so property insurance, and then if you have to pay mortgage insurance, I'm talking about that too, and any HOA fees, the total cost of you paying for that home on a monthly basis. So most financial professionals will tell you not to spend more than 28% of that income on housing. However, I usually don't like gross pay. I like to see, okay, what am I coming home with and how much of that take home pay should I be spending on housing? And I like to say between 25% and 35%. Now, 25% is a Dave Ramsey rule. And when he's talking about 25%, he's actually talking about 25% on a 15-year mortgage. So you'll get that mortgage paid off in 15 years and you're only spending 25% of your take-home pay. I think that's a little bit too conservative for most Americans. So I'm saying 25% of your take-home pay to 35% of your take-home pay, kind of combining both of those things together because the 28% is of your gross pay before any deductions. But I think you will be fine if you're between 25 and 35% of your take-home pay. Now, if you have other debts, you may need to be more conservative. If you have a occupation that's not very stable, may need to be even more conservative. You don't want to be house poor where you don't have enough income to reach your other needs, be it your food, childcare, just your everyday living expenses, insurance, everything that comes in with just living. You don't want to have so much money going toward your house that you don't have money for other things, especially investing. So you want to be able to invest money for the future. You want to have money to invest for future opportunities because sometimes we're living check to check, housing, all of our expenses, that there's no wiggle room. So if there was an opportunity for you to put some money in to start a business, to buy an investment property, you're so house poor and overburdened by debt, you can't take advantage of any extra opportunities because everything that you make is out in expenses. You spend everything that you make. So making sure you're very conservative on your housing budget will help you have wiggle room with the other things that you want to do in your life. Now let's go over an example, kind of putting all of these numbers in place. Let's do an example of somebody making $5,000 a month, so $60,000 a year. On the general rule of thumb, 28% of that person's gross pay would be $1,400. That is the most that's recommended that they pay on their mortgage payment in full, the total amount, that amount or less. Now, in my example, the 25% to 35%, let's do 35% of their after-tax income. Say after taxes, they're bringing home $3,750 of that $5,000, assuming a 25% tax. Then they would not spend more than $1,312.50, and this is not going to be exact, but maybe close to these numbers, on their mortgage. And then in the Dave Ramsey example of 25%, they wouldn't spend more than $937.50. Now, this may be eye-opening to a lot of you to say, well, that's too little. Nobody can afford to do this. But again, if you're spending too much of your income on housing, you will not have enough money to do the other things that you want to do. But again, finances are very personal. You could have a very large monthly income and you want to spend a little bit more on your housing and you have no other debt. But when you're figuring out if you want to do that, you want to meet with a financial planner to say, am I set up financially to meet the rest of my financial goals if I am to go above what's recommended in housing? You want to make sure that fundamentally your finances are not overburdened. So they'll look at your debt, they'll look at your insurance, they'll look at your investments, they'll look at all of those things to say, okay, you can push a little bit higher because you have everything else in place, or you have enough money maybe coming to your 401k, to your Roth IRA, to other areas that you can do more than that. But you want to think about that very much instead of just saying, well, I can do 45%, I can afford 50% of my take-home pay, and just be, again, overburdened by the debt of that house. Now, another fundamental thing, and I'll close on this, is that when people are considered broke, right? They are spending first, like they spend, and then they save and invest what's left. And often there's nothing left. Wealthy people have a different mindset. They'll go ahead and save and invest first, and then they spend what's left. So if you are set up where you're maxed out on your investments, you have money on the side for opportunities, you have, all of your basic needs met, and then you're left and you say, okay, I have 20% for housing, I have 25% for housing. Then you're creative to say, okay, where can I live? Where can I live where I'm safe? Where can I live where I can have, maybe a good school system? Whatever your desires are, where can I live in that budget that's going to work for me? And I've made several videos about being priced out, thinking outside the box as far as where you can live. I've made videos for hidden opportunities. Please watch those next because they may be helpful to you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.